A to the K.
A to the K.
A to the K. Hello, welcome to the A2theK Wrestling Show, where we will be giving you our WrestleMania predictions. Anthony, the time has come.
The predictions, Carl. The prediction series. A series that slaps harder than Will Smith at the Oscars.
Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, topical. Topical. Right.
I love it. I fucking love it. It does.
You know what? I kind of love it, like, because I needed to make the joke, but at the same time, it's like, it's a pretty shit slap, that, if we're honest. Like, people are talking about the fact he shouldn't have slapped him, and I totally agree with that. But, like, if you look at the slap, it was pretty... For a man who, like, trained to portray Muhammad Ali on TV, like, let's be honest, that was a pretty limp fucking slap, that.
So basically what you're saying is, our show is like a limp slap.
Yes. Welcome to the limp slap.
Okay. I like it. It's apt. It's relevant. But Anthony, we've got 2 nights of WrestleMania ahead. Obviously, WrestleMania is Saturday. We get to enjoy together. Thank you that COVID has fucked off for the most part. Yeah. So we will be watching that in person.
We were like, oh, what night do we pick? What night do we pick? It was a tough choice, Carl. But we picked the best one, I think.
I mean, it's false. We picked the one that, you know, basically we could do because we can't do Sunday nights because we're in work on a Monday, basically. Pick the worst night, by far.
No, I think if the Seth Rollins surprise pans out, we pick the best night.
We'll see. We will see.
Of course, this night involves Logan Paul, so maybe we didn't. I just don't know.
Well, exactly. But without further ado, Anthony, let's get on to the WrestleMania card for WrestleMania Saturday, WrestleMania Sunday, and give our thoughts. So the first match of WrestleMania Saturday. I mean, I'm not saying this is the order it's going to happen, but, you know, based on what we're invested in. We've got a tag team match. We've got the New Day taking on Holland and Sheamus. Obviously, unfortunate circumstances with Big E, because this should have been a 3-on-3 match. So now Butch, recently debuted, gets to sit on the sidelines and do fuck all. But yeah, tag team match.
Just showing what he did in NXT. I like it. I mean, my guess here is we'd give the new tag team the rub, and it'd be Sheamus Ridge.
Okay, interesting. I'm going to go the same. So I actually think that, similar to yourself, that it makes sense to give Ridge, who's the one and only young up-and-comer, a WrestleMania win in this scenario.
I mean, it's an incredibly tough choice in some senses, because you could argue that they might be trying to do a redemption thing for what happened to Big E, like storyline-wise, obviously, and give New Day the win as a defender their friend kind of thing, but I just don't think that's what's going to happen. But respect to what he does.
You see, one thing that stands out hosting a prediction series is a lot of people tend to just vote for who they like the best. And therefore you end up having a, you know, majority outcome of people thinking the baby faces are going to win everything, and unfortunately it doesn't happen that way. So I think based on night one, if, you know, we need some heels to win some matches, this one, based on the list, seems like it might be one that makes sense. So that was my reasoning for it. So heels win in this one.
Yeah, I agree.
Which leads us on to the next one, Anthony, and the biggest fall from grace ever at WrestleMania. Drew McIntyre going from the WWE Championship match last year to facing Happy Corbin.
A natural progression for most.
Indeed.
I mean, I like to think Drew's going to win this, because this feud has to end with Drew getting the win. Right?
I mean, you fucking hope so, because if not, like, who's going to go home happy
this
from
feud
this?
has to end here, right?
I hope so. Please. Really, please. Like, Drew McIntyre, for me, should be the guy ending Roman Reigns' streak.
Yeah.
1,000,000%. He's the guy who's got the tools to do it. He's the guy who, by getting the win, could actually, you know, propel him even to great heights. But yeah, as I said, biggest fall from grace ever. A guy who was going up against Lashley in a losing effort, albeit last year. You know, to go up against Baron Corbin. Happy Corbin.
Sadly, Happy Corbin's also got Madcap Moss, so we're going to get shenanigans. It's not going to be a straightforward match. Yay.
Well, I mean, as sad as it is, I think the bulk of what's going to happen in this match is going to be the implosion of Happy Corbin and Madcap Moss. Because,
no, I love that duo.
well, they've been teasing it for a while, haven't they? That Madcap Moss is saying things that actually secretly offends Happy Corbin. So maybe something's going to go too far, get distracted. Drew gets the Claymore for the win. But yeah, Drew McIntyre has to win.
It's like,
if not, I will fucking riot.
It's like a budget fucking MJF and Wardlow, this, isn't it? Happy Corbin and Madcap splitting up.
It's a terrible version, but a fantastic comparison.
Thanks. So, Carl, the next one on the books. Did we pick ones there? You agree with me on the Drew thing?
Yeah, Drew for me.
Yeah, cool. The next one on the books, Carl. And no, I'm not talking the Young Bucks. Is the Mysterios versus the combination of Miz and Logan Paul. Now, I am genuinely going to put this in sheer fucking hope, Carl, that it's the Mysterios in this case.
Interesting. I think the opposite, actually. I don't think you would sign Logan Paul to a match at WrestleMania and have him lose. I think they will appease the celebrity and the ego of Logan Paul by making him end up winning.
I mean, they've already put him in the fucking video game. What more can he want?
Exactly.
I like to think, though, I love the comparison. Like, they've made it nice and balanced, haven't they? Because they've got a wrestler and a non-wrestler in each team, which is nice.
Pew, 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 pew. You know what, though? I think it's going to be an interesting one, this. I actually think Logan Paul could surprise us. I think he's someone who, whether he is a piece of shit or not, he's not as big of a piece of shit as his brother, right? I'm going to put that out there, right? Jake Paul is a cunt, right?
Okay.
Logan Paul is
shit, but he's
unlikable.
A smaller piece of shit than his brother. I like
exactly. But say what you want about him, but he has gone out there and he's done some good training, and he clearly seems like he's interested in putting on a good show.
Surprisingly, I can join you on that sentiment. I've seen a lot of social media stuff around Logan training for this, and he, like you say, he truly wants to, or it seems to me anyway, that he truly wants to give a good show here, and he's taking it seriously. He's doing the training, and I really sincerely hope he gets to achieve what he wants, because Logan, like, I don't really have an opinion on him. I'm not sort of that generation where, like, you grew up watching him on YouTube and stuff like that. I get that he's got some negativity around him and so on, and obviously his brother more so. But at the same time, this is a lad who is achieving something that, like, if we were given the opportunity, we'd fucking jump at as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
So fair play to him. He's training his ass off, and he's going to get to achieve something that he probably fucking wanted to as a kid. So, hands down, I hope he enjoys every minute. I hope he looks fucking great doing it.
Exactly. And for a pair of brothers who are used to, buying their outcomes, it's almost like they are being paid for the outcome in this case, because we were like, what do you want to do? Do you want to win? Yeah, absolutely. And so Logan Paul is going to win. And I think this could potentially be the straw that breaks the camel's back for the Mysterios. I think Dominic and Rey might have a bit of a to-do after the match, and ultimately going to lead to the feud that should have happened at WrestleMania this year, where it could have gone up for the mask. But
they've delayed it to a point that I now don't give a shit.
Couldn't
nice
give
one,
a
WWE.
So yeah, leads us on to the next one. Nicely, the Usos versus Shinsuke and Rick Boogs.
Oh, this card's just so fucking dire, isn't it? Like,
this is what we have to watch together, and that's what I'm saying to you.
Fuck.
Exactly. This is like the bulk of the card. Like, WrestleMania's 2 nights.
Get more than halfway through before I even care about a match. This is shocking.
That's what's so bad. WrestleMania is 2 nights, and yet we don't care about even half of the card. Like,
what's the deal with the women's evolution as well? Not to digress too much, we'll get back to on topic, but like, both women's titles on one night together, and neither of them get to be the main event. What the fuck happened?
Yeah, I'd imagine that one of them is going to open the show. I imagine Becky and Bianca, because obviously that's the big spot. And then I think Charlotte and Ronda.
We already know that it's KO shows closing, don't we?
Well, according to the date sheets, but we believe. Because also, right? Well, Kevin Owens said we're going to main event WrestleMania, so everyone's like, yeah, it definitely will happen. But I'm pretty sure Seth Rollins or something said that he was going to main event as well. So I'm like,
and that's one of the things. Was like, You all main events. Everyone gets a main event. It's just a night of main events.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. It's got it's got that point now where it's like a participation fucking medal in it. It's like, yeah, you did nothing. Here's an award. It's like everybody's the main event in our hearts.
Up,
Yeah, exactly.
Big W. It's fine.
Yeah.
So tag title. Sorry, come.
It's like, who cares, really? Like, if Shinsuke and Rick Boogs win this, then it's awful, but let's be honest.
They haven't really booked them as a tag team up to now. It's been Shinsuke and his crony, and now they're trying to make out like they're an actual tag team. I don't buy it.
No, me neither. I can't imagine they lose to these, but...
I'm just saying, it's a good job this is a premium live event, because I ain't buying it.
It's like, it's so bad this would be like on the pre-show.
Yeah.
Which is weird, because...
I just don't understand. Go on.
Well, I mean, we're going to watch this from 12 o'clock our time, midnight. But the pre-show starts at 10 a.m. 10 p.m. 10 a.m. It's a fucking long one. No, 10 p.m. So, what are they doing for 2 hours? Because they've got no matches to put on.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, this is like no disrespect to the Usos, but this is so bad that I don't even think this should be pre-show. This should have been the SmackDown the night before. Why are we getting things like the Battle Royal on the SmackDown when, like, the first night is actually so fucking shit?
You know what? Saying that, what baffles me, there's no gimmick matches. The only gimmick match they've got in the entire of the 2 nights is Johnny Knoxville versus Sami Zayn, which is a like no rules match or something.
I mean, to be fair, like Bianca and Becky are going to be hair and throat match, isn't it?
Right? Throat on a pole match. What?
A vocal cord match.
Exactly. Whoever wins gets to cut a promo at the end. That's what we're working towards. But yeah, I think we're both in agreement. Neither of us care about this. I'm going to go for the Usos. I can't imagine they lose.
It'll be kind of offending if Shinsuke and Boogs can just suddenly be an established enough tag team to beat these guys.
Same. Which leads us on to, Anthony, the first women's match of the night. We've got Becky Lynch taking on Bianca Belair.
I'm going to go with Bianca because I feel like that's how the story should go. I did mention earlier, for those who listen to everything we've done tonight, on This Week in Wrestling, I mentioned me slight theory on the potential push further into Becky as a heel and the win in that sense. But I'm going to go with hope in this one and hope that Bianca takes the win.
Yeah, me too. I think it is the natural progression for the storyline. I think Bianca needs to avenge her 21-second loss against Becky Lynch at SummerSlam. So, yeah, it makes sense. And I think, Bianca is a good champion. And who knows what that means for Becky in the short term. Maybe she'll have another break, but I don't know. But it makes sense. It's probably one of the only stories on the whole WrestleMania which actually has some background and some, build to it. So it would make sense for Bianca to win the match. So, yeah, I'm going to say Bianca as well.
Cool.
Which leads us on to the second women's match for night one, Anthony. So Charlotte Flair defends against Ronda Rousey, the match that no one wants to see. Who wins? Who cares?
I don't care. I legitimately don't care.
Same.
Whoever. Doesn't matter. Probably Ronda. And that's just a guess because I don't care.
Do you know what is so funny? Is that neither of us care. But I bet you both of us would be fuming if actually Charlotte retained. Right?
Yeah. Bullshit!
And that's not because we like Ronda Rousey. In fact, we hate Ronda Rousey. I hate Ronda Rousey in a current fucking incarnation. But it just, what's the point of this whole fucking build and the whole thing they've been doing if Charlotte wins anyway? Like, the problem with the booking is Ronda is not a likable face, and Charlotte, although she is hateable here,
when you come out and you set fire to the audience, not just the WrestleMania side, that's not a face move.
Exactly. But people don't really like Ronda that much, so is it enough to make people actually want Charlotte to win? maybe not. But yeah, I don't think any outcome is going to appease anyone really. So
It's going to be like, joking aside, like, we have our opinions on it, but it is going to be a very polarizing match because I think the audience are going to be very split down the middle.
Yeah, I think based on our prediction series, a lot of people want or expect Ronda to actually win the thing, which does make sense, but what does that actually mean in the long term?
I mean, it achieves the goal of saying, right, Ronda's here for a longer time, and now we're going to have to push it into another feud. What do you want? And what do we want?
I mean, for me, the thing that would make sense is to finally have Becky versus Ronda at WrestleMania 39, because that is what should have happened anyway before Charlotte got added into the mix. So if they manage to do it correctly, then it could be a very long-standing
would be a feud. I mean, the fact that we basically have to spend a year to get there to be a bit shit, but there you go.
Well, I mean, I suppose if Bianca beats Becky, then Becky's got to get back to the belt, and then they'll do title versus title again, because
we have to have the superstar shake-up so they can end up on the same show, so that she can challenge for Ronda's belts, and we don't necessarily have to go title versus title then. And naturally, the superstar shake-up obviously has to come not long after Mania, doesn't it? Or does it? It's usually a while after Mania. When do we even do it anymore?
I mean, I don't even think they know, to be fair. It happens when it happens.
Feel like, yeah.
When the ratings are low, we do a superstar shake-up or a retro Raw. That's what we do.
Like a big game of Boggle.
Indeed. Which leads us on to Seth freaking Rollins. So as we spoke about on This Week in Wrestling, he finally gets his Mania match against an opponent of Vince McMahon's choosing. And the words in themselves are very interesting. So tell me more, Anthony.
Well, I'm going to go with a conspiracy I've got, Carl. That's Vince has been working on some advanced cloning techniques, and it's going to be Seth versus Seth.
What?
I know, right?
That is actually going to be Elias's new gimmick.
Do you know what?
You heard it here first.
Honestly, right? I personally wouldn't be too bothered if it was a repackaged Elias, but this is like the kiss of death. If it's anyone other than Cody, this is fucked. This whole match is fucked. It doesn't matter how good the match is. People are just going to boo this out of the fucking building because they've all expected Cody. And this is not WWE's fault. This is the fans.
I mean, yeah, you're right. I mean, the fans or the dirt cheats, because essentially somebody was like, I'm in the know and I know it's going to be Seth versus Cody.
I've talked to Cody's wife's dog groomer, and exactly. They've said.
So everybody picked up on it, and therefore it was like, oh, it's a dead set. But as we get closer to the event, you have the likes of Sean Ross Sapp saying Shane McMahon's in town for WrestleMania, and it's like, okay.
Don't be wrong. I honestly believe that they might do the whole swerve of Shane McMahon's music hitting, and then he just comes out to announce who the opponent is. They'll definitely try and fuck with us a little bit. Like, it'll never actually be Shane, but I think they'll probably make us think that for a second. But
yeah.
Honestly, this has to be Cody. If it's not Cody, people are just going to be so annoyed. And I feel sorry for WWE if they didn't actually sign Cody.
Yeah, I get massive, Bianca Belair versus Sasha Banks vibes from SummerSlam.
Yeah, again, I think you mentioned this in This Week in Wrestling, but I totally get it.
Yeah. It's like, Sasha can't compete. Who's it going to be? Oh, it's Carmella, and everyone's like, oh. So maybe that could be Shane. He comes out, and everyone's like, oh, for fuck's sake. And then Cody Rhodes comes out, and everyone's like, oh my god, we did get Cody Rhodes. But yeah, it's so weird, and I suppose this is one of the only things that makes me excited for night one. So they've done the job, I think. Not even because I'm like a massive Cody Rhodes fan.
Thing is, though,
I like
this
Cody.
Makes you excited for night one, unless Supercard of Honor fucks that right up, and then you're not even asked.
I mean, if you are right with that, to be fair, you get some kind of fucking A2theK medal. We're gonna have to make something, because
if I am right on that, I am coming for Meltzer. I'm gonna be like, no, it's my show now.
I mean, to be fair, anyone can come for him right now. He's got nothing. So yeah, so Seth Rollins versus mystery opponent. I think mystery opponent wins. Whether that opponent is going to be Cody Rhodes, whether it was going to be Gabe Stevenson is another name who's come up quite frequently, or maybe it's going to be someone else.
I mean, they were big on Gabe, so it kind of makes sense that they'd suggest that he could make an appearance. I think he suggested something, recalling our news from a couple of weeks back, he made a suggestion that he was going to be at Mania, and he's nowhere on the card just yet. So
deleted the tweet, didn't he? He was like, oh shit, shouldn't have said that.
Oh shit. So
who knows? But yeah, I think
unless they said it's going to be Cody, you might want to delete that. You look fucking stupid.
maybe. I mean, to be fair, they probably said that to Cody. It's like, it's definitely you. Well, by the way, we've got Machine. It's like, well, fuck you guys. What have I done?
He went to Cody, it's going to be Stardust, and he was like, nah.
No, it ain't. Which takes us to the potential main event of night one, Anthony. We've got Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Kevin Owens. That's right, we're only on night one after all this. And a lot of speculation. Is it going to be a match? Is it going to be just the Kevin Owens show? Is it going to be nothing at all?
Well, I think we, firstly, I know we discussed it earlier, but I'm adamant this is going to be a match, Carl. Am I right in saying you feel the same way, or do you think there's going to be something else?
I'm on the fence. I don't know. I honestly don't even think they know at this point. I think Stone Cold is going to decide on the night whether or not he wants to take it into a match, or whether it's going to be some kind of interview segment that goes wrong. I think it's going to be up to him whether he wants to jeopardize his legacy.
Earlier in the night, you said you want to see him rock up in his Speedos and head down to the ring ready for action.
If Stone Cold comes out dressed to fucking wrestle, everyone will lose their shit. Because immediately you take away the whole kind of, well, is it going to be a match? Is it going to be this? If he comes out in his fucking little black, Speedos and his fucking vest, comes out
he's not had his
ready to kick ass. Exactly. If he comes out ready to fight, people are going to lose their fucking shit. Now that is going to be a WrestleMania moment. If he comes out in his little t-shirts and his jeans and drinking a fucking beer, then it's not going to be a match.
Did he used to wear jorts, or am I imagining that?
You are fucking imagining that.
Are we sure?
I mean, he wore, not to wrestle in. He wore them as part of his, So
he never wrestled in jorts?
No. He wore them as part of his, well, I'm in my, usual clothes that I wear. But, yeah, didn't wrestle in them.
Okay. I'm not talking big baggy ones like Cena. I just feel like that was his attire at one point.
I think you're wrong.
Okay. I mean, you're the historian. I'll believe you.
The wrestling historian, TM. Yeah, so I think
pending.
It's unknown at this point. I think, would it be awesome if it was a match? Absolutely. I think Steve knows whether or not he's comfortable.
We can agree, though, at the very least, this is going to have to be some stunners and some sort of action. It's not just going to be an interview or a back and forth. This has to lead in KO getting stunned at some point, right?
I mean, if it's being pushed to the main event according to sources, then I imagine it's going to go on for at least 15 minutes. So you would expect there's going to be some kind of kerfuffle, some kind of fight, maybe into the audience, the crowd. It depends how it goes. If it's a match, then
I feel like
you can sit in the ring.
It's going to be awesome, ready to be stunned by him. It's a bit like that scene in Ready to Rumble when they're like, "Crown me," because they're his biggest fans. I feel like that's a KO thing. He's going to be like, "Stun me, do it." I feel like it has to happen for KO's sake. The kid wants to get stunned.
I mean, maybe, hopefully, but yeah, I just hope that it's entertaining regardless of what happens, because that's what we want to see at the end of the day.
Indeed.
Which takes us, Anthony, on to night 2. So we're going to start things off with the women's tag titles, because they are not even a thing. So we've got Zelina and Carmella up against Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley, and Sasha Banks and Naomi, and Natalya and Shayna Baszler.
Not a single one of them were a tag team a month ago.
No, of course.
Well, Zelina and Carmella technically were, but let's ignore that. I personally think, I think the only logical thing we can do here is give it to Liv and Rhea. And that's because they're closest to being a cohesive tag team in terms of appearance, at least.
Yeah, I think Natalya and Shayna were a bit of a afterthought, so they're kind of ruled out.
That's what happened there.
Well, exactly. So they are ruled out, unfortunately. But
Sasha, that'll be a flash in the pan with Sasha because she is a main event person and has never been a tag team person and won't continue to do so. So let's be honest, it's no point.
Well, the thing with Sasha is she's never won at Mania. I don't think this is going to be her first win.
No,
so
I agree.
Yeah, which obviously a big Liv Morgan fan, a big Rhea Ripley fan. So hopefully they can pull it off.
Put your hands together.
So yeah, I am hopeful that we will get new women's tag champions, but
I think
yeah,
Zelina
not really.
and Carmella have had their moments in the sun with the belts.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Yawning just thinking about it.
So savage.
You are correct. So yeah, I'm going to go with Liv and Rhea, and you the same. Which takes us on to Pat McAfee versus Austin Theory. Now, majority of votes have actually put Pat McAfee as the front runner for this, but I disagree.
I disagree also.
Again, come back to when we were talking about night one, I think, you need to have a mix of faces and heels who win the matches, and I think we need some extra heelage in this example. And I don't think
your heels in at this point, don't you?
Not to ruin what's going to come up, but I don't think the other heel in the kind of celebrity feud is going to lose. So I think Austin Theory takes the win, and Pat McAfee then has to deal with it on commentary for the next couple of weeks, which is going to be fun for nobody.
I agree. I think Vince McMahon's guy isn't going to lose this match. Especially he's technically the wrestler in this scenario. So
true. I think the magic will be from Pat McAfee losing, but then still being on the commentary table for the next few weeks and being kind of like, well, people kind of ripping him and stuff like that. I think it could actually lead to something else for him.
Yeah, potentially.
Because,
it just makes better sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, because if Pat McAfee wins, then what?
It's done, isn't it? Austin goes back to taking pictures with people.
Yeah, exactly. So the next one, speaking of weird matches, we have Sami Zayn versus Johnny Knoxville. So I'll jump in. As I just said, I think Knoxville will win this one. Poor Sami, but yeah, we need one of the celebrities to kind of pick up the win. I think Logan Paul will do the same in night one, but I think Knoxville needs to do it ahead of Pat McAfee in night two.
But credit to Sami because he's probably going to make him look good doing it.
I mean, he always does. Yeah. I think this one as well being some kind of... it's not a stipulation match as such, but it's kind of like anything goes, isn't it? It's like there's like a marginal stipulation. I can't remember what it is. But makes me think we're going to see some... other jackass people. So the likes of Pontius, the likes of Wee Man, Steve-O, etc. coming out and doing some crazy shit and beating up Sami Zayn. I think that's the only way to end it.
Definitely going to be a shopping cart involved because that's kind of like their thing.
Yeah, of course. And I think obviously a massive stunt by Knoxville because of the stipulation. So, crazy bastard. He'll jump off something. He'll jump through something. He'll do something, basically. Which leads us on to the very impromptu match that was booked this week of Bobby Lashley versus Omos.
I hope upon hope that Lashley wins this. Sadly, I think they're hot on Omos at the minute, and I think they're going to give Omos the win. But I just feel like it's a slap in the face for the former champion.
So I think I will disagree with you on this one. I think
Bobby Lashley... think you're wrong, Carl. So where are we going to
bring it on? No, I think Lashley will pick up the win. I think he brought him back as a face. It's weird that Omos is kind of like a heel, but not like a full heel. But at the same time, I think the fact that Lashley was able to take him off his feet, they kind of allude to the fact that he's got weaknesses and he is susceptible to a loss. So yeah, for me, Bobby Lashley will get it done, and then who knows what is next for him? Will they keep him face? Will they turn him heel? Yeah, all remains to be seen. But Lashley is going to win.
Lashley shocking. Nah, I think they're going to give Omos the win, and I think we're all going to be a little bit disappointed and almost saddened by it.
Interesting. Which takes us on to the tag titles, Anthony. We have RK Bro defending against Street Profits and Alpha Academy. Now, something I want to point out is on Raw this week. Street Profits, did they turn heel? Was that a heel turn? Was that just a...
Maybe.
Like, what even happened? Like, RK Bro were in a match, and then Street Profits come out and start beating up on RK Bro. And it was like, that felt quite, rather heelish. But obviously they're not as heelish as Alpha Academy, so are they the tweeners? I don't really know what's going on, but I don't know. I'm going to go out on a limb here. I think a majority are going to go with RK Bro retaining, and it probably makes the most sense. But I'm going to go for Street Profits.
I would agree.
I think we are going to get that, and it's going to be the start of the breakup of Riddle and Randy.
I don't know why I think it's going to be Street Profits, if I'm honest, but my gut's telling me it's going to be Street Profits. I feel like if they were big on Alpha Academy being the title holders, they'd have let them retain the titles previously. So I think, like you say, I don't think RK Bro are keeping them, and I think Street Profits is the logical step, give them another run with the titles.
Okay. Let's all trust in Anthony's gut. That's what I say.
Well, it was your gut first. I'm just piling on.
Well, yeah, let's trust in our guts. That's what I'm saying. No guts, no glory. That's what I say. We then go on to what I'm citing as the co-main event, because who knows the order of the match. But we've got Edge versus AJ Styles.
Tough one.
This is the one which I am least confident in. So you're right, it's very much a tough one. I think Edge has lost a lot of high-profile matches at this point, but I think at the same time, he's going to lose another one, because I think AJ is going to pick up the win. I think Edge has had the majority of the offense leading up to this, obviously the concerto thing, and a lot of features with the promos and stuff like that. So AJ needs his revenge. He's not got it yet. Whether it happens on SmackDown could change my mind, but AJ.
I'm actually going the opposite, and it's a tough one to call, but I'm thinking Edge. I think it's solidifying Edge's new gimmick. I think AJ has been in this position before, where he's been there to make the legend look good at Mania, and they know he can do that, so I think that's what his job's going to be this time.
Okay. Interesting, but yeah, I think something which we... Probably the only one where we're kind of like, I have no idea which way it's going to turn out. So
it's a really tough call, that one.
Fair play. Which leads us on to the main event, which maybe doesn't get the same reaction. So I don't know if you agree. This could completely negate the point I just made, but it has to be Roman for me.
Yeah, no, I totally agree.
I think this is the third WrestleMania main event that the pair have had, and while the first one neither of them won because Seth Rollins cashed in, the second one Brock has won. So ultimately, Roman has never beaten Brock at Mania. He made a point of it. It's something he needs to do. And I think he will. I don't think Brock is going to stick around after Mania. He is long overdue a break. He's been around much longer than he normally is.
He's exhausted right now, isn't he?
Exactly. It's so out of character for him, and the fact that he's playing this babyface where he's very, crowd facing. He probably needs like a good few months away just to reflect on life.
Like that's the thing. Like we're not even kidding with it, because he's not like a people person. He prefers seclusion. So this must be like painful, really, at this point.
Well, exactly. So for me, Roman is going to finally get that win over Brock that he so desires, because it makes the most sense, ultimately.
No, I agree. I think, on top of that, I don't think they're ready for the Roman streak to end. And I don't think Brock's the guy to do it. As much as Brock is a massive deal, I just don't think that this is what they're going to do. I totally agree. I think Roman's going to further solidify his position.
Yeah, I agree. I think while Brock, in my opinion, not yours, but in my opinion, was the right choice to end Taker's WrestleMania streak, I think
we'll talk about that.
We need to make a new star to end Roman's, and whether it's Drew, whether it's someone else. Like for me, it would be Drew. Please be Drew.
We know it'd be Drew.
I hope it is, but if it's Drew, if it's someone else, I think we need to finally build someone up to, finally beat Roman and make it mean something. But yeah, Brock, it's just unfortunately not going to be the case, I don't think. So, yeah. All in all, that was WrestleMania.
Predictable.
Hey, I mean, we'll see. You know, I'm when we do like the results show, I'm going to put that out there. Predictable. Anthony got 2 out of 12. I kid, but
See that? Oh, what's that? Arrested Development music. You know that? You know. You use it in memes all the time. What you have to do, you just have my soundbite of me going predictable, and then you show me score, and then just play that music. The meme writes itself.
Indeed. Is that Arrested Development or was that Curb Your Enthusiasm?
It was Curb Your Enthusiasm. I just fucked that up.
Yes. I know something for once. I'm gonna savour this. I never know anything. I have no references.
They both have that guy in them.
That guy? Yeah, Probs. You know the guy? David something. Is he David?
Yeah, the guy.
Larry Bird? He's like Larry Bird.
I don't know. No, isn't Larry Bird like a sports guy?
Yes, he is a basketball player.
Sports guy.
Larry David. There you go. I was like, isn't he Dave? Isn't he Larry Bird? No, he's Larry David. Yeah, that guy. But anyway, so that was our WrestleMania predictions. A lot of matches, but it is over 2 nights, so maybe it won't end up being that much overall.
A one-night show over 2 nights.
Indeed. Yeah, I think night 1, obviously we're going to watch that live together, but it's not amazing. I suppose the big highlights for night 1 are going to be whatever happens with Seth's opponent and whatever happens with Stone Cold. Obviously, 2 fantastic women's title matches as well.
Yeah, well, Dark Horse match, I think, potentially. Not so much a Dark Horse because you can expect it to be good, but I think what could steal the night could be Becky versus Bianca, you know?
Yeah. I mean, it's got all the potential to do so. I just hope it's booked in the right way. You know, I think that is the one that's going to open the show. So hopefully the rest of it can live up to the show. So we'll see.
Therefore, I get you.
Indeed. And then night 2, I think the majority of the major feuds are featured on there, but obviously it's all going to culminate in Roman versus Brock, and I think that's everyone. The match that everyone, that and Edge and AJ is also on the agenda, but yeah,
I think everyone, like you say, it's leading to Brock Roman. That's going to close the show, and rightly so.
Close the show, and rightly so. I like it. So yeah, that was the A2theK Wrestling Show. This was our WrestleMania predictions. Let us know in the comments, do you agree, do you disagree? Hopefully you filled in the WrestleMania prediction series on our Instagram. We're going to crown our first winner after this event, so monumental occasion for all involved. But yeah, another fun-filled week. Obviously, if you're watching this right now, make sure you listen to us on all the places you get your podcasts. And if you listen to this, come and check out our beautiful faces. We say this every week. But still, follow us, all the socials. And before we go, we're going to throw it over to our friends at For the Love of Wrestling, because if you love wrestling conventions and you want to meet some of wrestling's absolute icons, you want to check out For the Love of Wrestling 2, taking place in Liverpool later this month. Say this again.
Next month.
It is. I mean, technically, yeah, it's in April. So if you're going to be here, check it out. But until next week, we are A2theK, and all we got to say is bye.
Bye.
For Love of Wrestling, Europe's largest wrestling convention, returns to the Exhibition Centre in Liverpool on the 23rd and 24th of April. Guests this year include Diva of the Decade, Trish Stratus, the Wrestling God, JBL, the Dudley Boys, Torrie Wilson, and just announced MJF from AEW. We will also be doing a Wyatt family reunion as we welcome Eric Rowan, the man formerly known as Braun Strowman, and indeed the Fiend Bray Wyatt. Also just announced is the man, the legend, the icon, Sting. And of course, your Olympic gold medalist, Kurt Angle. This and many, many, many more guests, as well as prop builds, Q&As with all of the wrestlers, and some of the biggest wrestling collections in the world on display from our exhibitors. Get your tickets at forloveofwrestling.co.uk or search Facebook or Twitter For the Love of Wrestling. For the Love of Wrestling, Europe's biggest wrestling convention, returns to Liverpool the 23rd and the 24th of April.
Hey guys, it's Georgia Smith here, and you've heard me on A2theK. These guys are awesome. Check it out. A2theK.
A2theK.